everyone to Thrashcast episode 63. Tonight I am your host. My name is Ken, and with me are my two co-hosts from every show, Billy and Jim. How are you guys doing tonight, guys?
All good.
Awesome.
Great, great. So tonight, I'm just going to preface this right at the beginning. I know before we get into our usual topics and where you can find the Thrashcast podcast and all that, we're doing a death metal special. So we've been talking for a while about doing death metal. We all love death metal. We all think it kind of goes hand in hand with thrash. So right now, this is the first one we're doing. Don't fret. We are still a thrash podcast. That's our goal. But I think we're looking at maybe once a month. We'll all get a chance to pick a death metal album that we like, and we'll get to talk about it. So tonight we're picking one that I think everyone's going to like. We're going to be picking Entombed, and we're starting with Lefthand Path from 1990, which is Billy's got it right
Yeah.
here, which is an incredible album. So we'll get into that. But before we do, we'll just give you a little bit of info on where you can find us. You can find us at the website, which is www.horrormetalsounds.com. You can find us right here on YouTube. You can also find us on Spotify, Rumble, and you can also find us on TikTok, is where we're at now too. So plenty of places to find the podcast. And, we do appreciate all the love and support we get. All the comments are answered, and we do encourage you to listen to the podcast whenever you can. We have like over 60 episodes now, so there's lots to choose from. So it's all good. So before we get into the show, we will start with our usual segment here with our news and our spinning items. And how about you, Jim? You want to start us off with anything you got?
Yeah. So not really much news. I mean, obviously, we're just coming off the huge Black Sabbath show, so lots of info there. But what I got this week, I got a few things. Just about an hour before the show, I got my new Nile CD, Annihilations from the Wicked. Man, this is one hell of an album. I never got it. I've been streaming it and just kind of want to fill in some of my back catalog. I think this is a 2020 release, but man, this is one hell of a technical death metal. I think it's probably in my top 3 of the Nile albums catalog, so that's pretty cool. And then Ken, I went to my local used record store and I got this really cool copy of Destruction,
this is great.
Infernal Overkill with the slipcase. So this is
Nice.
pretty cool, man. Like they had a ton of Destruction there. Not like guy told me he had just sold Cracked Brain. Somebody cashed in their collection, so I'm kind of pissed because I wanted an original copy of that. But pretty cool nonetheless. And because it's like death metal day here on Thrashcast, I also picked up Dismembered. And this is the last one I needed for my catalog. And it's every one I bought was in a slipcase, so that's kind of cool.
That's cool.
And this is the 6th album, I think it is, their last album, just self-titled. It's not as good as the other albums, but still I needed it for my collection. And I had picked up more, but I don't want to monopolize all the time. But I also got Bloodbath, Survival of the Sickest, their latest album that I think came out in 23 or 2022, sorry. I'm starting to create a Bloodbath collection, really digging their stuff lately. And believe it or not, I only own one record from them. So I didn't have this. And I think he had everything there. So I think I'm going to sneak back down there in the next couple of days and pick some more stuff up. But that's what I got, guys.
Awesome. How about you, Billy?
So I didn't pull any wood spinning stuff. So I actually got a couple of news items, some stuff that I've been noticing. The first thing I think is pretty damn cool. So like, I mean, I think we're all Iron Maiden fans, but for the diehard Maiden collectors, the British Mint announced that they're going to produce 2 official Iron Maiden coins. And this is like one of them. Can you guys see
Oh, wicked.
Like they're
Yeah, I can see
so
it.
cool looking, right? Like
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
so celebrating 50 years and it's real currency, like the British Mint is producing them. And Maiden's in good company, right? They've done this only with Queen, Elton John, and David Bowie. Uh,
Nice.
so that's pretty damn cool to get a metal band in there. So I'm not sure how like people can get them. Like if you're in the U.S. or Canada, I don't think they would. You may have to be there. So I'm still digging around to figure it out. But I'm not the biggest collector of meat and things. But these are so cool. I would get them.
yeah.
If I could get my hands on them. So
Those are
that
awesome.
was announced yesterday. That's kind of cool.
What denomination is it?
It doesn't say.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I don't know.
cool.
They're selling them for 1850 pounds.
Pounds, okay.
So about 19 pounds. So yeah, I don't know that you would like use them as an
Yeah,
official currency, but
could you
They
most
imagine?
can
people
just
would.
save them. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that, like coin collectors, they would probably just save it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Right. In 1850s, nothing crazy, right?
No.
All by all collecting standards, that's pretty cheap. The other thing, a couple other quick things. New Carcass tour, September and October of
Saw that.
2025 through the US. Only one Canadian date in Toronto, which is odd.
Yeah.
Usually it would be Montreal, but that's okay. I'll take it.
I'm gonna
With
go.
Necrod and Brugera and
ooh,
I'm not sure if I'm saying this right. Hedonist is the other band. I don't know them. So,
oh man, I'd love to see Carcass and Necrod. Oh
yeah, that'd be cool. And then the other big tour that dropped in the last few days is Queensryche and Accept.
yes,
Jimmy's wearing the hat. So that's November, December, but it's for all of us here. No Canadian date. So strictly
Of
US
course.
from end to end. So that's a bit sad, but
and
uh,
that's an interesting pair up.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it makes sense, right? They work
Yeah,
well together, I think.
Yeah,
So
I can see that.
that's
just
kind
leave
of
Second.
cool.
after accept.
It's
What's
actually
that?
it's a
I said you could just leave after accept. I'm kidding.
uh, it's funny though. I'd rather see Queensryche over.
Oh really?
I find actually like they're cool, but I just find everything they do and their songs are so dated now. I
I
don't
love
know.
it. I saw accept with Udo back in 84 or 85. I can't remember, with Crocus and Rough Cut in Halifax, and they just blew my mind.
Okay,
But
and then,
that was Udo version. So although I do like Mark, I do like the new version, but Udo's pretty, yeah, was pretty cool.
yeah, I mean, I don't mind them. Like I would go see it. Like, but sadly they're not coming. So,
No, that's too bad.
not to Canada, anyways. Um, and then I guess the other thing is, and maybe I'm paying more attention to this because King Diamond is one of the main bands at Wacken, but
Mm-hmm.
not looking good. He's been canceling because Wacken's one of the Western, his
No.
European tour, and he's been canceling shows.
Yeah,
Again.
Doctor's
Wow.
telling him to cancel 2 weeks, and he's only canceling one
strep.
week at a time, strep throat. So, uh, yeah, so that's a bit disappointing. The lineup is in my view pretty disappointing as is. Then Saxon dropped out
Well, they did too.
two,
Oh yeah.
yeah, they're gone. And then now King Diamond, you don't know if they're gonna make it. And we're gonna get stuck with Guns N' Roses where they spent
Ooh,
money on
Oh
it.
God.
Uh,
ouch.
but yeah, I'm not gonna rant about that. Uh,
That's where the money is. Guns N' Roses.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
I
no, that's what
watched
I
on
mean. Yeah,
TV.
there's no doubt, right? Usually, like you can see the billing has like four headliners, one for each day, and like there's only one headliner, just Guns N' Roses.
Oh
But you
my
know
God.
what, Billy? It would be so awesome to see King Diamond at Wacken in Germany. Could you imagine the show he's going to put on there if he plays that? That
Yeah,
would be so awesome.
like I saw him in 2019. He played with Merciful Fate there.
Yeah,
I got the date right, so yeah, it was pretty cool.
nice.
Yeah,
I think all those years of smoking is finally catching up to him. Because
yeah,
I think he used to be a chain smoker, wasn't he?
yeah,
Or
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
used to
probably.
be?
Yeah. And
He's
but you
probably
remember
catching
when
up.
he was here in Canada, he was canceling dates all over the
Yeah,
place,
Yes.
canceled
right? Like,
Western Canada, some of the
yeah,
ones in
Western
Winnipeg.
Canada. Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. So anyways, so that's all I got.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, I have one item tonight. I just was recently found out that Sadistic Force, they're like a three-piece band from Austin, Texas. They're releasing an EP, due out on August 22nd, called Morbid Odyssey. I'm looking forward to this. I know here at HMS we did review their 2023 album, Midnight Assassin, and I think you also reviewed it for the Metal Clip.
Yeah, that is one hell of an album.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
Black and
reviewed it for
Thrash.
another site. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, Black and Thrash. Yeah, it's good.
yeah.
I bring this up because their front man is James Oliver, who's
Mhm.
actually the guitarist vocalist. He's also a writer. He writes horror novels. So I've
Oh,
been talking to him recently. So he's just released a new novel called Children of the Gore, which is coming out on June. Well, it actually came out June 13th. So it's like kind of 80s splatterpunk styles. I was really into it, so I started talking to him, and so he's going to send me a signed copy of it. So that was kind of exciting. So I was like, oh, that's great. And maybe I might be able to line up an interview with him for
oh, that would be wicked, man.
yeah, yeah. We're talking about it. So he seems like a nice guy. I've been chatting with him on Instagram, so that's pretty cool. That
Yeah,
was
and
my
the
only
album
major.
cover of that album was so cool with the guy with the pipes
Yes,
kind of looking in the girl's window. Oh man, that was wicked, and the album is phenomenal.
yeah. The album is really good. I like the album too. So I'm curious to see what the EP is going to be like.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious about that. But yeah, he seems like a really nice guy from what we were chatting, and he's written a bunch of novels, and he's really big, and he's sort of like self-publishing his own work. So he's not like he doesn't have like a major publishing house that he's working with, which I think is I admire that. So he's already released two novels this year already. So I ordered them both Big Cartel, and he's going to sign them and send them off to me. So I
Cool.
was kind of excited to read that. I want to see what his work is like. But that
And the
was the
band's
only
pretty cool, actually. I got to see them at
you
Hell
saw them, Billy.
in Texas. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't own any of their albums. I went in like completely cold. I
Hmm.
Okay.
played like one of the evenings, late in the evening. And I mean, you said they're from Texas?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, so I
Texas.
didn't
Yeah.
even realize they're a local band. So that's probably why. Like they were in the indoor section. Like they couldn't even fit all the people in who were
Oh
trying
wow.
to get in, and it holds like 800 people or 1,000.
Okay.
But they were pretty cool. I enjoyed it. Like I was surprised. I just didn't know anything about them.
Yeah, they only have a couple albums out. They're
Yeah.
from Austin, Texas. I
Okay.
think the first album came out in 2014, or I know it came out a few years before the latest one. So
Oh,
and they're a three-piece band, but yeah, they're good. I like that album a lot. I know I was thinking about Jimmy when I was talking
Yeah.
to James about it, because I was like, I know he reviewed it, and I didn't review it from my side. I had one of my other writers, my writer Mike, reviewed it. So, but
Cool.
you know, I mean, it's great. It's nice when you get like musicians like writing music and then writing novels. And he's not the first one. I know several musicians who are now writing novels, which is kind of neat. So they're all self-publishing their own work. That's kind of unique. But anyways, that's
And
all
the
I have.
video he did, the video is
Yes,
so cool. It's like
yes,
got this guy going out and killing. It's really
yes.
good.
Yeah, yeah. It's like Black and Thrash. It's this is pretty solid stuff. They kind of remind me a little bit of Whiplash, but like
Yeah.
on acid and speed. Like they have that style, but just a little bit harsher and much more darker. But and then I'm glad you saw them, Billy. At least someone, one of us here can say that they've seen them live.
yeah, it was
I wouldn't
cool. I
mind.
was impressed,
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I wouldn't mind
especially
seeing them
when you
live.
know nothing about a band, right? And you go
Mhm.
in like
And you're
dead.
going in cold.
Yeah, it was cool.
Cool. All right. Awesome.
That's the album cover. Oh, there it is
Yeah,
there.
yeah. That's a great cover. I love
Yeah,
that.
I love it.
Oh, I've
And the
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
that
video is so
cover.
cool. I
Okay.
think it was for Midnight Assassin, but it was like, man, this thing gave you the willies because it's just like it starts off with a news program, and it's just really it's well done for such a small band. I thought, and this is really cool, and it's total horror kind of thriller kind of push that I really thought it was genius.
Well, I've read I guess a sample chapter of his new novel, and it's like, oh yeah, this guy, he's in it for like the gore. It's ultra violent and it's described that way. So it's like, it's kind of my alley. So I'm like, oh, I think I'd want to read this to
Yeah.
see, like, knowing what the music is like in the band. I've heard both albums and I actually like both albums
Yeah.
what I've heard. So I'm looking forward to grabbing that EP in August. But yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. Okay, so before we get into the actual our album dive and the deep dive into the album, I have some questions for you guys about Entombed. And the first question I have is, we're talking about Left Hand Path, and we all know it's considered like a landmark in the genre of death metal, of course. It did put Sweden on the map as well. So I guess what I was thinking about here was, what do you think of Entombed? Do you think they deserve that distinction? Do you think there's another band from Sweden or in the area that's better than them? I just want to get some general thoughts about it. Jim, let's start with you.
Oh, I mean, the first three albums in my mind, Left Hand Pass, Clandestine, and Wolverine Blues, are my favorites in their catalog. They changed a little bit for me after that. So, but I mean, Left Hand Path, all three of those albums kick ass. Left Hand Path is a 10 out of 10 album for me. So, as far as and it's a very accessible album. 1990, you think about what was going on then, such a big metal year. I mean, we've talked about it a billion times. We couldn't do a playlist from it because we've done it. Best albums, we've done it. Best songs. So 1990 was one of our most favorite years of metal, thrash,
Yeah.
death metal. And it's an accessible album because what I like about them, and Wolverine Blues started to change a little bit, but the first three albums really kind of, I mean, the vocals are much cleaner than most death metal, I find. We'll get into that, I guess, when we talk about the album. But I find musically, it's just bang. It's amazing. And I love it. But for me, another Swedish band that I'm a huge Dismember fan. And I guess even, I don't know if you'd consider them death metal, maybe more black, but they're not. I would go with maybe even Dissection a little bit, like the
Yeah, they're pretty
Somberland.
nasty. Yeah.
I mean, I know there's a lot of controversy around that,
Yes.
being like practicing some sort of weird Satan thing, and there was murder involved, kind of
Yeah.
similar to maybe the whole Mayhem thing in a way. I don't know,
It's
and
very
I know
similar.
they're not around anymore. But Dismember
Yeah.
for me is one of my favorites. I think obviously Entombed has the higher highs, but I think for me, Dismember is just more consistent in their catalog. But I love the first three albums, and this album's a 10 out of 10, and will probably hit my top 5 death metal albums.
Well, Dismember is pretty close to Entombed, I think. They have a very
Yeah.
similar style.
Very
So,
much so, yeah.
yeah. That would be my first thought too. How about you, Billy? What would you like to contribute to the question?
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, definitely, Entombed is the band for me that defines the Swedish. I mean, it's all about that HM2 like pedal guitar,
Pedal, yes.
right? It's just to this day the sound of that guitar tone, like it's the best thing on Left Hand Path, right? Like it's just brilliant. So yeah, and I know, like, Dismember, you have a similar sound, but yeah, so for me, it's definitely, I guess we should say Entombed didn't really start as Entombed, right? Like, what were they, like,
Nihilist.
Nihilist or something
At
original?
Nihilist is what they
Yeah,
said.
and they wanted to kick out a band member, but didn't want to do it, so they
Yeah.
just reformed under a different name, and that guy never joined, is what I had read. But like, I don't know
Yep.
how true that is, but so yeah, it's actually, but it's mostly the same guy, so that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, when I think of for me, every time I read the Swedish Big Four of death metal, you guys had Dismember, it's Entombed, it's great.
Grave.
And it's
Great.
used, and often people say Unleash, like older.
Oh, I
Uh,
love Unleashed. Oh,
uh,
they're great.
so they're kind of the like. So for me, I like Dismember, I like Grave, and I don't know why. I just never really gave Unleashed a try. Just too much
Oh,
music. You just can't get to everything. Like so.
Yeah.
yeah.
With all the US and death and still thrash back in this time frame, like, and I just never picked it up. So I may love them, just never did it. But yeah, so for me, definitely, Entombed is synonymous with Swedish death metal.
Yeah, that's yeah, pretty much. I guess they started it. Makes the most sense. But I like Unleashed. Unleashed is a band you should give it a try sometime.
They have a new album
Yeah,
coming out.
yes, I know. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
Fire
the new
Upon Your
stuff's very
Lands.
different, right? Isn't it more melodic and like
Mhm.
more mainstream,
it's
or am I wrong?
yeah, it's not as heavily as the earlier albums.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Check
I
out
don't know.
Shadows of in the Deep. Shadows in the Deep, the second album,
Mhm.
Yes.
is really like the first few albums are very much more death metal orientated,
Yeah, yeah.
like Ken was saying, and then it kind of goes a little bit more melodic as the albums go on. But they have a vast catalog. I think they have like
Yeah.
15 albums.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I would suggest going back to the first three or four albums. You won't go
Yeah.
wrong with these for
Yeah.
the style. But I also I like their modern stuff too. So I mean
Mm-hmm.
I love all their albums and
Same here.
I like the style. It works for me. I mean the vocalist is pretty cool. I dig his style, but you
And
know
same vocalist all the way through?
yeah, same
Yep.
vocalist.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. They haven't that band hasn't made very many lineup changes actually. They're pretty solid band like over time, but yeah, they
Yeah,
were.
they have like where I don't like Entombed's newer stuff as
Mhm.
much as their older stuff. I like their newer stuff just as much as their older stuff for that
Even
band.
I like Serpent Saints. I thought that was like
Yeah, it's a good album, but like
return to form album for me. I liked it a lot. But
I'm talking about like Same Difference,
right,
Inferno. But
yeah,
yeah,
I know that.
that's true. That was a good album. Yeah,
And then the Slayer kind of worship album that they did.
yeah.
Um, what was the name of that album? I forget offhand. Do you remember the
Is it
name?
Inferno? Morning Star?
Morning Star, yeah,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is basically Slayer worship. But I didn't mind that album either. But anyways, we'll get into that.
Sure.
So the question number two, I'm going to pose this to Billy first. So I know that they've mentioned that the album was recorded really quickly, like they did it in a week, and some members in the band feel that a lot of the songs were kind of unfinished. What do you think of that, Billy? Do you hear that in the album yourself, or do you think that's a not a like an accurate question to be asked?
Yeah, it's interesting, I guess. I guess in fairness, any band would probably say that, right? Like if they only had like another week or another 2 weeks, it would have been better. But that's not always the case, right? Sometimes you do catch lightning in a bottle,
Yeah.
even in a week or two. And I guess to some degree, again, this is I think that's true more of like a second and a third album. Because like a
Mhm.
debut out, you've been together for a while, right? They were under a different name, like they
Yeah,
had time. Like these are ideas that the first time they're putting them down, right? So they've probably been floating around for a few years. So I don't know, but I mean, obviously, I'll take the band for their word for it. I mean, there are a couple of the shorter tracks that I don't like as much as the longer
Well,
ones.
like Supposed to Rot. That's
Yeah,
like their yeah. I love that song.
yeah, again, there's nothing here I don't like, but like generally speaking, there's like a 2 minute track. There's, one or two of the shorter ones. A couple of them end incredibly abruptly. There's at least two
yes,
of these
yes,
songs.
yes.
Is that because they didn't have time to finish it? Maybe. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. Like I just think there's so much to love here. Just again with the drumming is spectacular. And
Yeah,
like every song is going to be the same answer. The brilliant, memorable riffs and those
Oh,
buzzsaw like HM2 sound. Like it's just there's so much awesome that to nitpick at little stuff feels like we're being a bit harsh. But like but like I said, there's a few things that one or two songs that are overly simplistic structure compared to
yeah.
everything else. So like I could buy that maybe not everything was like fully finished, but it's a pretty damn good end product. A lot of bands would love to have an album like this
yeah.
if they spent like a year in the studio.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think, Bill? I mean, Jim.
Oh, I think the whole thing is lightning in a bottle for me. I wouldn't change, and I wouldn't want them to. I mean, obviously the band knows what they're talking about. I'm just a fan, but I think it's done to perfection. I think the Swedish death metal movement really I mean, it's like they took the Floridian, I'll even say, death metal, and made it, tweaked it their own with a little bit more darker, kind of in some ways a little bit more darker in the sense of, how can I explain it? Maybe a little bit more blacker, and I like that. And but no, I think this the whole thing is lightning in a bottle. For me, there's not a bad song on it. I don't think anything. I don't feel it's unfinished. I think at 39 minutes, it's long enough. 10 songs. It's my perfect album for length and number of songs, and I don't want any more, because I want to have it. First of all, I want to rate it out of 10. So 10 out of, it's having 10 songs is easy. But no, but seriously, I think it's just, you listen to that first song, and I mean, it's 6.5, almost 7 minutes long, and it just grabs you and takes you away. And I just get so excited because, and I don't think, I mean, this album probably falls in most people's at least top 10, you know, uh, death metal albums of all time. And I think there's a reason why it's such a it's got. I wonder how many bands listen to this and decided, oh, I want to do this. You know what I mean? How they were influences. They must have influenced thousands of people, and trying to set up bands.
Well, that's a good segue into question number three, Jim, and we'll stick with you. So, how do you think Entombed stack up against bands like say, Napalm Death, Carcass, Death, Obituary, Morbid Angel? How do you think they stand up or
Oh, I
compare?
think they hold their own, especially with the first three albums of their work. I mean, my God, Death is probably, Obituary is my all-time favorite death metal band, and I know Billy shares the same view. Ken, I know you love them too. They have such a distinct sound, but I think Entombed, what makes me attracted to Entombed and Dismember, being another one of my, I mean, I love Dismember's whole catalog. And I think it's so much different than the Floridian American movement and the rest of the world. And I think that's where it's got its own niche, which is great. I think they stack up perfectly. I would put them, imagine if Chuck was still alive, just per se, and Death was still a thing. Could you imagine seeing like Obituary, Death, Cannibal Corpse, Carcass, and these guys, and maybe Dismember if they were still, you know what I mean? All together. Could you imagine that bill, And I mean, we all know Chuck was sort of moving away from that, but oh man, I put them right up there with the big American bands, just right up there. And my top five will prove that.
Cool. What about you, Billy?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, they definitely deserve to be up there. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, in my mind, when it comes to my death metal, like, I'm Team USA, right? Like,
Yeah.
For my years, and like the only one that would even break into my top 10 death metal bands from Sweden is this Entombed. None of the others would even hit my top 10. So yeah, like I think they share some similarities, right? Like you get like these guys are good at like many sections going into like a slower, crunchy groove, like you get from Obituary. They're also very good at doing like dirty, sludgy, like death metal parts, like an Autopsy would do, right?
Yeah.
Songwriting, I mean, just brilliant songwriting that reminds me of Death and Morbid Angel, right? The ability to do brutal music, but the hooks are undeniable, right? Like it's not just how fast and heavy, like it's just damn good songwriting. So I think they share similarities with bands from all over the place. But again, when it comes to top billing in death metal, yeah, I think they deserve to be there. Yeah,
Also, don't you guys get from the album, like this album especially, more so than the next two, that there's even a bit of a Celtic Frost little vibe in a few of the songs? Like you can feel that in there. I feel it anyways.
Well, he does a couple of Tom grunts too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, we'll get to that because it's there. I'm more than certain that they were.
Yeah, there's a nod to Tom for sure.
Yeah. We all know that. That's funny you mentioned that.
I love it.
Yeah, so do I. I liked it too.
Yeah, I had that on my notes for like 2 or 3 songs. Yeah.
They're obviously very fairly aware of it. I could, Celtic Frost is pretty influential as well. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. And so the next question will go to you, Billy. How do you feel about the connection to? This is probably a good one to answer because we all love like death metal and thrash. What do you think of the comparison to the two genres and why they kind of go hand in hand? Because I think they do.
Yeah, no, I mean there's I mean obviously I love death metal. I could to be honest, like we have a channel called Thrashcast and I love thrash.
Right.
And thrash is probably my favorite music. Uh, but I would say like if I had a score on 100 for thrash, it'd be 100 and death metal would be like a 95. It's almost right there. Oddly enough,
Right.
to this day, I much prefer to go see a death metal concert than I do to
Mm,
see a thrash show. But that's just I don't know. I find death metal live, you feel it more, right? Like the
right.
it's it's just something different. So yeah, it has its similarities, its differences, but I always love the combining of the genres. Like to these guys will do in tune. Will use some thrashy parts on this album, and I think of like my top 20 like albums. There's a lot of death thrash crossovers.
Hmm.
Oh,
Bands
many,
like
many.
Status is I love the way they cross that stuff, or Malavin Creation is
Oh
another
yeah.
great example. So yeah, I think some of my favorite albums are early death meets thrash albums.
Hmm.
Right, so they do go very well. They're both extreme. So yeah, like I don't think. I mean, could somebody say I like death metal and I hate thrash? I don't think so.
No, me neither.
I don't know anybody. Like, how could that be?
Yeah.
One's maybe a bit heavier. I guess if you hate Cookie Monster vocals, then maybe you could say that. I guess would be the only way. Uh,
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
some
Jim,
like thrash fans, not everyone's gonna like those death
no
growls.
one.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Jim, what are
Yeah,
your
I was
thoughts?
going to say that. Like, I think anybody who loves death metal is automatically a member of the thrash camp. But I think on reverse, I have a lot of people I know who like thrash but can't understand why I like so much death metal. But they don't get it. And I think that's just you got to listen. Like, there's so much, and you think of our past. I don't know, for the past 3 years, our top album collections that we do, like our top 15s we do every year. There's a lot of death metal on there. Like,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know, like you think of. I think we all had like 200 stab wounds. I
Yep.
had, we had Necrot. Uh, I know just so many. You had one last year, Ken, that just
I had
kicks ass.
aborted.
One of my
Aborted
favorite.
was my
Sorry,
my top pick. Aborted was my
Yeah,
top
and
pick.
don't forget
Aborted.
Blood
Yeah, amazing,
Incantation.
amazing band, and I love them. And then there was the Autopsy one. I think it was from last year, the year before, and it's just and there's a lot of newer bands like. And I say Necrot's got a few albums, and they've been around a little bit, but new compared to these guys. And 200 Stab Wounds, that I think last year their album just ripped up even the heavy charts in North America, all over Europe. I mean, these guys are going to be, I think when people are going to be doing a podcast 25 years from now, hopefully we will be, uh, but we'll be talking, or somebody will be talking about 200 Stab Wounds and those first couple of albums, just like we are here. And I think that's what's neat about death metal, but I think it runs hand in hand with thrash because I mean you've got like Warbringer, which isn't necessarily new but newer. Their latest album is awesome. Right now, it's probably sitting as my one or two for the pick of the year. It's either right in front of or right behind Dream Theater, and I mean, I'm a huge Dream Theater fan, so it's kind of funny, but. Like Billy, and probably like yourself, Ken, because we do push thrash first. Oh yeah, I'm only a 1 or 2% behind in death metal. We could run a sister channel that could be death metal channel, and just like Thrashcast, and we could probably do the exact same thing with that, and just the possibilities would be endless. And I love the fact we decided that we're going to do an album every so often, just for kind of for fun and our own,
I
our
think we should. I think it's
yeah,
only
yeah,
fair.
it's a lot of fun.
I mean, because yeah, and you just mentioned it. Like some of these other bands that kind of take like look at Testament. Like the
Yeah,
fact that they flirted with death metal vocals in the '90s, and
exactly.
I mean that's just proof of it, right? And I remember like listening to Thanatos, which I like, and they were started out as like death metal, went into thrash. Yeah, so you can see the comparisons to a lot of these bands who like cross over with both styles. So I think they go hand in hand because I don't know when I was listening to thrash, it led into death metal to me. It just it just naturally led into that.
Yeah.
So I think the two genres, the two most vital genres in my mind,
Oh
because
yeah.
I'm not really big into black metal as much, and
I I like new wave of British heavy metal. I like
yeah,
traditional metal, symphonic metal. But I got to be honest, whenever a thrash or death album comes out, like for thrash metal, death metal, oh man, I'm excited and I'm like, I can't wait.
yeah,
Especially like somebody like Obituary comes out with an album and it's just like, oh man, it's so good. Every one of them's bam, it's awesome. For me, it's awesome, 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 awesome. And it's just because they've got that sound. And anybody who says, like I've heard some people say, oh, death metal, maybe not the best. I'm sorry, but you take this album for instance and listen to the musicality of it. These guys are talented players, man, and to play that fast, to play that heavy, I don't care what anybody says. You got to be talented.
yeah. Fair enough. Well said. And the last question is, of course, we always like to look at the artwork, and that's a iconic cover. Um, I think I'll start with this myself. So, yeah, this is a Dan Seagrave cover, and Dan to me is if when you think about thrash, you think about Ed Repka. When you think about death metal, you think about Dan Seagrave because he's like the king of death metal album covers. And what's great about Dan is Dan's actually he's a UK. He was born in the UK, but he's actually a Toronto resident. So he's actually he lives in Toronto, and I think he spends time going back to the UK and to Toronto. Um, his style is very interesting. He has a very unique kind of epic feel. He doesn't paint or go into like zombies or think of bodies being torn up. He's really into like big kind of conceptual landscape concepts. And when you compare that to the album covers that he's done, besides Entombed,
Yeah.
like he's worked on Warbringer, he's worked on Dismember,
Dismember.
yeah, that's one he did. Suffocation, Effigy of the Forgotten, which is a really good cover. He did Gorguts, considered dead. Pestilence, Testimony of the Ancient, which I also really like. And then of course Morbid Angel, he's did like Clandestine and Altars of Madness from Morbid Angel is another one. But he's did so much more. So you can actually go and look him up. If you go Google it or go to his website, he has all the covers he's did over the years there, and it's an impressive list. Like the man is pretty much like the king of the death metal album covers in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you guys think about it? How about you, Billy?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like it a lot. Like it's one of my favorite. It was funny when we were doing favorite album covers, and like this goes back many podcasts. I don't remember any of us pulling this out, did we? I
I
don't
don't
think any
think
of us.
not too. No, I
Yeah,
don't think we did. You're right.
yeah,
You're
and
right. We I don't think
probably
we
an
did.
oversight because it's a pretty damn good cover. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I like it, right? Like it kind of reminds me of the music, right? It's like it's dense, it's thick, it's evil, but like the artwork's intricate, like some of the music is. I just find it a very striking album cover. Like even the logo is pretty damn cool, right? It really
Yeah.
to
It's yes.
the album cover and this haunted feel and like the tombstone there and yeah I love it. I think it's cool. And
Yeah,
you
it's a
so I
great
didn't
cover.
realize so he did
Mhm.
the first um uh
Morbid Angel.
Morbid Angel
Yeah.
album cover
Altars of
Yeah,
Madness. Yeah.
you did
because this
Altars of
kind of
Madness.
reminds me of it, right? Like these bottom section of the album is
Yeah.
very Altars of Madness.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're right. There's some good comparisons to that album for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
that
a
was
he's a
cool.
yeah, he's a really talented artist. If you go to his website, you can actually see the stuff like he still does album covers, but he also does a lot of personal works. His personal works is pretty damn dense too. It's interesting. I like his work. He's a very serious artist. Let's put it that way.
Mhm.
He doesn't
He's
paint a lot of
he's
those.
done Gorguts albums
Yes,
covers.
yeah, he did. I think he did a more than one, but the one I brought up was considered
Considered
dead.
dead. Yeah.
which is a
Oh,
really
that's
good
the best
cover.
one of them all.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a really nice cover. I love that
yeah.
cover. I even like the Warbringer covers that he's did. He's did a bunch of those too.
Yeah.
They aren't too bad. So the guy's really really talented for sure. Um, and I know he's also a filmmaker. He's actually you can go if you go onto Vimeo, you can actually watch his 10-minute short film, which is pretty neat. I was watching it this week and I was like, yeah, he's really really talented. So it's like kudos to him for all these years of making these covers and then sticking with it. But I think you're right. Yeah, I think it was an oversight. We did miss that cover from our last talk, one of our earlier talks.
No,
But it's a
I
good
could have
cover.
had it in mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I had it in mind at all. But
No.
now that we're talking about it, it's like, well, that was an oversight for sure,
Yeah.
guaranteed. And sorry, Jim, I got you. You like the cover as well, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, he's probably as an artist done 3 of my top 5.
Okay.
So like I'm sitting there going like, oh man, yeah, it's a wicked album cover. I love it. It just, oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, if you just go to his website,
Yeah.
he actually has all the covers there. It's like I was impressed. I was like, oh, there's so many.
Yeah, I
Like,
didn't know he
dude,
did
this
all the
guy,
Devil Wears Prada ones and that.
yeah,
Yeah, and
and then
Lawnmower Death. There's a lot of
and
them.
Demon,
Holy
yeah,
cow.
the lawnmower, yeah, then Demon Hunter,
Yeah,
like yeah, he did a lot of bands. I always like the lawnmower death covers. I think those are
yeah.
they're kind of funny. But yeah, he's like a legend. So like I put him up there right next to Ed Repka as like the two guys
Absolutely.
like synonymous for these great album covers. But that's cool. So that's all the questions I had for us to talk about the band. We'll do a very brief bio, but for those who are not aware or not initiated into death metal, Entombed formed in 1989. Well, I know they were nihilists, but the official Entombed name was 1989 in Stockholm, Sweden. They have released 9 studio albums, which is quite a bit when you think about it. The only thing I'll say about this band is that it was really sad when they got into that kind of bidding war for the rights to the name. That
Mhm.
Nikki Anderson sued LG Petrov, and I know Nikki won. Nikki eventually won the rights to the name Entombed, and then LG had to restart his own band Entombed AD, which released a couple albums. But this band, it's great. So their seminal release was, of course, Lefthand Path, 1990, Clandestine in 1991. They're both hailed as classics. And then, of course, Wolverine Blues, which is one of my personal favorites, came out in 1993. In the band, you have Lars Goran Petrov on vocals, Ulf Cederlin on guitars and bass, Alex Hellid on guitars, and Nikki Anderson on drums. Now, they didn't have a bass player on the first
Mm.
album, so I know they shared the duties. I know Nikki Anderson played drums and played bass, and then I know that if I'm saying that right, Ulf Cederlin also played bass, so that was kind of interesting. They didn't actually get an official bass player until the second album. But yeah, so that's just a little bit about the band. It came out on June 4th, 1990 on Earache Records. And I didn't put this in the questions, but I always thought Earache was a very interesting label because when they started out, they had all these extreme metal bands, and now they've kind of turned about and they've got Rival Sons as one of their major,
Yeah.
which is weird, which is just so strange. But anyways, I just think that's kind of funny. But yeah, so like it's great. The album's like a mix of British grindcore. It's got Floridian death metal to it. It's got a
Oh
unique
yeah.
sound. And when we get into the album breakdown, we'll be able to talk about that great guitar sound that's in here, the Boss HM2 pedal, which now everyone kind of uses. But yeah, they had a really really good guitar tone with this album. So we'll start with the first song, which is the title track, Lefthand Path. It's a song that I really love for many, many reasons. And I know, Jim, you alluded to it earlier. It's like well over what, six, almost 7 minutes?
640.
640, yeah. It's an epic song for lots of reasons. And it's kind of unique. I'm gonna start with this because it's for me, my ears picked up the one part of the song that I absolutely love, and that's when you get into the Phantasm. They take the Phantasm theme in the second half of the song. So they use the Fred Myro music from the movie. which surprised me because I don't know. I always kind of thought, well, it's Universal film, so I'm shocked that Universal didn't sue them for it, but I think it's kind of unique. But that's later on. Anyways, but we'll start with the song itself. Jim, let's get your thoughts on Left Hand Path.
Oh yeah, I mean the Screams intro. This
Yeah,
song is just classic heavy death metal, but in their own way of playing it. I mean, this one. I mean, I love every song on this album. This one's 6 minutes and 41 seconds, and it is just you don't even know it's that long. I love it how when the guttural vocals kick in and that at 2:49 that killer solo just shows how talented this band is. At 3:40 you got those screams, and then the song kind of slows down a bit, and then it gets to the middle of it where that theme
Phantasm.
comes in.
Yeah, yeah,
And it kind of takes a bit of a doomy turn, and I love
yes,
that. I mean, and it's got such a cool guitar, kind of not really a solo, but playing till the end of the album in the last minute or whatever. And I love it how it's very melodic in the last part of the song, and it just kind of fades out that way. Ah, man, this song is just, as far as I'm concerned, is a masterpiece. And I mean, it's phenomenal. I absolutely love it. If anybody is going to start off with Entombed, yes, this is perfect. Start off with the first album, first song, and you can't go wrong.
it's kind of funny. It's almost progressive in some ways.
Oh yeah, I find a
Wouldn't
few
say
other
it.
songs actually
Yeah,
proggy. Yeah.
and it's like it's almost like a couple songs in one in my
Mm-hmm.
mind because you're right, the first half and second half. But Billy, let's get your thoughts about it. What do you think of it?
Yeah, and just before I jump there, sorry, you had me. I've been hooked on the Dan Seagrave page. Like I love how it just does like it's a collage of all the
Yeah,
artwork.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't realize that like one of my favorite three run albums of all time, also in artwork and music, is Malavin Creation. I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
realize he did those first three.
yeah.
So that's pretty damn cool. But okay, yeah, get back to uh yeah, so this is for me the best song on the album. There's a lot of great songs on the album. Ken, you mentioned this, it's epic. There's no other way to describe it.
Exactly.
uh like I mean Petrov is great. Like he's very versatile. Like at the beginning I think Jim mentioned it, he has this like agonizing moan to kick the song off, but at the same time like he could be more aggressive. He's got like a mid-pace growl, but what I like is the clarity of the
Mm-hmm.
lyric. Like you could actually understand, right? It's not
Yep.
like I mean I love Obituary, but it's not a John Tardy like just moaning and growl. Like you could actually
Yeah.
hear the lyrics. So yeah, that's cool. Like it's epic because it really does like a good job of combining the slower parts and the faster parts and heavier parts, and it's just brilliant songwriting. So when I hear a song like this, I don't hear rushed, but I do in maybe to your earlier question and a couple other things. But yeah, like and this is the introduction of the buzzsaw
Mm-hmm.
guitar tone, right? The like it's just brilliant. Like it left such an impression on me
Yeah.
the first time I heard it back in the day, and listening to it this week, like it's just awesome, right? Like so that's cool. And then the musical section, right? Like from 2 minutes to 3:15, it's just the riffs are so goddamn memorable. The leads in that section, the vicious drumming. I mean, the drummer is incredible on this. Like we got to give
Yeah, he's great.
him kudos there. You guys talked about the slowness at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just it's the way you want to actually start out an album strongly, and it just I don't know, it might be the best opening death metal song uh,
Mm-hmm.
of all death metal albums, but don't quote me because I didn't go back and look at it. It's if it's not the best, it's one of the best.
Well, it's close. You're right.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. Yeah, yeah.
But I think you hit
Well,
it on the
it's
head,
great.
Billy, when you said impression. I think that's the thing with Entombed. It gives you that positive impression right off the bat that it's just like I remember when I was a kid listening, not a kid, but younger listening to this, going, "Oh man, what is this?" And just falling in love with it right from that that first moan scream intro, and it was like, oh, this is so cool.
Well, what makes it so unique is the fact that it's not a typical gore themed, like lyrical
Yeah.
song. So they decided to, Left-Hand Path refers to Anton LaVey's beliefs about individualism and self-determination, and it's based on his Satanic Bible. And supposedly Nikki was reading the book and saw the name or saw the quote like Left-Hand Path and thought it would make a great song. And apparently there was some kind of argument between him and Oof about the album title, and Nikki was like, "No, this is the album title. We're going with this as the title." So it's great. I like it because it's kind of unique. You can hear some of the vocals, like the words, but my one big criticism about this album is some of the lyrical content is great, but because it's just screamed out, you don't really get the full impact of some of the words in some of the songs. But that's just my minor nitpick. But it's great here. It's really, really good here. This is like an epic classic song to start us out. So let's move to the second track, "Drowned." And Billy, why don't you lead us off with this? What are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, no, it's another good one. I mean, the
Mhm.
first few are incredibly strong, right? It just you're just like pummeled right from the beginning with those monster riffs, and Nicky's drumming. Like it's amazing. This one goes up tempo, quickly. Again, like the guitar tone is crazy. It's so memorable. The riffs are like at 2:30. That riff section. It just like it makes you want to join the mosh pit even at
Yeah.
50. Like it's just crazy good. Like this also, like, Entombed are good at, like, faster components, aggressive components, but also like here they actually slow down into more of a like a filthier death metal autopsy style briefly. And they're very well at combining it in a great way. Like 320, the solos are killer. And this is the only odd thing is this is one of those where it's just such an abrupt ending.
Mhm.
It just
Yeah,
feels
yeah, yeah,
weird
yeah.
the way this song ends. Like I don't get it. Like I always thought it stood out like a sore thumb, the ending. But yeah, but it's still a great song.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jim?
I like the complete stop. I'm like, yeah, all right. That just kind of, because I mean, you 25 seconds, you got the vocals. I mean, this song gets to business right away with that heavy opening, and then like the drums at 50 some odd seconds or whatever just sends this song into the stratosphere. And I mean, I love the raspier vocals on this, but I find the
Yeah, yeah.
vocals on this whole album are a lot cleaner than most. And I have, I think it's pretty cool, because I think it makes it a little more accessible for maybe the bridge that gap between maybe more traditional metal or thrash fans. I think this would be a really good one to definitely. This would be a band to start with, in my opinion. But I mean, yeah, this is another 1-2 punch. This is an amazing song.
Yeah, and I like the song for the lyrical point of view. That "drowned" kind of refers to being trapped under a dark spell, and it's one of the themes you're gonna on this album that they throw in here. So it's like it's a metaphor for spiritual suffocation, which I kind of like, which makes it interesting. And LG just, I think he's the icing on the cake. His vocals are so great here. That guttural sound, like his shrieks, they work, and it's kind of funny because he's on the first album. He doesn't appear on the second album, but then he comes back for Wolverine Blues, and he changes the vocal style a lot. So it's kind of an interesting transition from here to album 3, I think. But
Mhm.
I don't know. It's
And do you remember why he left? I don't remember off the top of my head.
my
After,
understanding is that he was not satisfied with Nicky Anderson. They had a bit of
okay.
a tiff
So
or some. It was
personal.
something to do with Nicky, as far as I know.
Okay.
Because technically, it's Nicky's band. He's like the head honcho here of the band. So I think that I mean, I could be wrong, but I thought I'd read that they got into a few tiffs and he wasn't happy and decided to leave, and then he came back. Because the second vocalist on Clandestine, he's okay, but I don't really like him as much.
Mm.
Prefer uh, I prefer LG for me personally, but
But
yeah.
didn't the singer originally be in a band with Dead from Mayhem? I
I
think,
think, yeah, you could be
yeah,
right, Jim. I think you could be right
I think
about that.
he was either, I don't know if he was singing or Dead was singing. One of them was singing, one of them was playing the drums. So I think it was
Yeah, you could be right
called
about that.
Morbid or More. I can't
I
remember
think
the
it was
name.
Morbid, I think, or something like that.
Okay,
I think it was Morbid.
yeah.
I've seen the name a few times, but yeah, I think you're right. You could be right about that. Interesting. Okay, so we'll go to track number 3, Revel in Flesh. Jim, what do you think?
Oh yeah, this is where the bass really takes kind of a front and center for me. Kind of crack comes right in. You can hear it really good. It's more of a heavier melodic song. You know, around 30, 32 seconds, the vocals cut in. Um, I kind of I wrote this down, but if Metallica ever did a death metal song, he's kind of got a bit of a Hetfield death metal vibe in this for me, anyways. Um, and I love the drum and cymbal fills that go on in this. I think it was Billy who brought up the drummers. Definitely, the drums on this album just kick ass, and this is
Oh,
a
Nick,
great
yeah,
song
he's great.
that shows that. I love it, and the drum fills, the cymbal fills, at one point sends the song into a wicked solo with all kinds of slides and stuff. It's got a really cool, massive death metal chug for me, and it's that 320, I think it is, has that really amazing solo. So this one to me is another kick-ass song, and one that really shows how good the players are in this band, how good the musicianship is in this band. I really like this song.
And there's a bit of groove that they throw in at
Yeah,
the 150 mark, just a little bit,
yeah,
and you can hear it. It's like, oh, that's kind of interesting, but they don't allow that to seep into the song, which is kind
no,
of neat. But yeah, you're right. It's a powerful song. What do you think about it, Billy?
Yeah, no, I think it's one of the best. Like it's the second or maybe third best track on the album. Yeah, it's like just that opening riff. Like I love it so much. It's so memorable. And you mentioned the groove. Like there is
A
some
little bit.
underlying groove to this. There's a couple of songs that have some
Mhm.
cool groove that work their way in that sort of makes them stand apart. It's the songwriting. It's catchy, it's memorable, it's just really good. Like the like another killer riff at like 204, the lead at like 230, another one like Jim said in the 3 minute range. Like the leads are almost like
mm-hmm.
chaotic Slayerish, a little bit of influence there. And yeah, Jim mentioned the cymbals, like especially in the back half of the song.
Yeah,
There's some excellent cymbal work. But interestingly, this is another one where the song just cut it right like at the very end,
At the
and
end,
it
yeah,
just
yeah,
ends
yeah.
as abruptly as it possibly could.
But he has
that's
that
probably what
scream at the
spurred your
end.
question there. That's probably what spurred your question there, Ken, because that is a good point. That did they not have something finished? Because they do end a couple of these so abruptly. It's like nothing you've really ever heard before. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you're right.
Or maybe
yeah,
they thought it was cool and they
yeah.
did.
I
I don't
kind of
know.
like it.
Yeah.
It's different. Yeah, it's different. My I like the song, but I have one small complaint. I like the lyrics here in the song because they, for shock value, the song is all about death and decay, and it's about how they reveal how a body, I guess, basically looks at how a body, how you look at a body after death. So it's all about how the corpse desecration and cannibalism. I like it. I've heard someone say online that it's like a Sonic splatter film song, but you don't really hear a lot of that. The vocals are so guttural,
Mm,
music is so intense. You don't get a chance to have the lyrics seep in. That's just my take, but I think it's a really good song as well. It's one of my favorites on them. I think with like what Billy said, it might be song number 2, the best second song on the album in my mind
yeah,
as well. Yeah, it's pretty solid. It's not long, but it packs a punch, right?
yeah.
All right, so track number 4, When Life Has Ceased. Jim, what do you think?
I mean, I like the song. It's got some really heavier, evil sounding vocals for me. I think that if this was going to be, if you were going to compare it to any sort of thrash, this would be a little bit more thrashy death for me, or death thrash a little bit. It's got that vibe. Um, it's got a lot of groove to it as well, like the previous song. But I mean, it's a great heavy song. I like it. We're running into song number 4 here, and it's still one of my. I mean, I like it a lot. It's a great track.
I think Nicky stands out on this song on the drums.
Yeah,
I just picked him out.
Where the groove comes in. Yeah.
He's really good on this. What do you think, Billy?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this one.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I mean, Nikki is a star on this one for sure. I mean, hell, this thing opens with like a drum fill, right up front, right, like a full-on drum fill. So that's really cool. This thing, like at the very end, we talked about it before. Petrov does like a Tom G. Warrior style grunt, and then let it echo through. Like it's really cool. That works. Like at 320, the solo trade-offs are some of the best so far. But like they're just playing over the relentless drumming of Nicky. Like it works well. Petrov's great. Like he actually does. He sort of tries to do some more atmospheric style growl. Sort of fit well with the music, but he's also in his like normal, like a mid-range roaring, barking type thing. So yeah, he shows some versatility there. Yeah, it's just a banger, right? It's aggressive, but like a lot of good Entombed songs, like at 225, they just slow it right down. And that's cool because it's just the contrast between the two speeds. They're really good at that, and they do it on most of the great songs. So yeah, I'm a big fan. Like for me, 1, 2, 3, 4 are all awesome, and it only starts to slow down slightly at 5 and 6 for me.
Okay, fair enough. I also read that this song was dedicated to a friend that they knew. His name was Chi. I don't know how accurate that is. Who apparently was in a coma at the time when they were writing this, so he was practically a vegetable. So the song sort of has the theme running to how life is futile in the end, and that death and decay, you can't stop it. So it's kind of maybe waxing poetically in some ways, but it's just something I noted. But it is a really good song as well. I like the title, "When Life Has Ceased." Gets right to the point. Now the next track, number 5, and I know where Billy's going with this. So Billy, I'll let you take over here for "Supposed to Rot." What do you think?
I mean, I never skip it. I always listen. But again, it's a 2-minute song. Like how many albums have we covered a 2-minute song? And like you only can fit so much in a 2-minute song. Like it's got the signature Entombed riffing. Nicky's like amazing again. It's just compared to what we got in the last 4. This is the most straightforward songwriting.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to get any surprises. Nothing's going to jump out at you. It's an idea, and they run it through 2 minutes. So not bad, but it just compared to what the first 4 and some of what's to come. And is this fully finished? Like, was this an idea that they didn't get a chance to expand it? I don't know. Like for me, like a 2-minute song never makes sense unless you're a hardcore band. But then again, these guys had some hardcore influences as well.
That's right.
But so yeah, I don't know. I got nothing bad to say other than it's just straightforward, pretty simple compared to the rest of the stuff.
Well, I think it's kind of a joke in some ways, because the whole point of the song is that this guy murders his nagging partner and then finds out that after she's dead, she doesn't fucking rot. So, and he's telling her to rot. And then he says it right in the song, "You're supposed to rot," right at the end of the song. And I read that some were saying that they were partly inspired by Hitchcock's Psycho, because, Norman Bates murdered his mom and then threw her in the fruit cellar, which at the start of this song, that's the first thing they say: "We threw you in the fruit cellar." So I don't know. Maybe it was them trying to take a little bit of a jab or try to be fun at those kind of lyrics. It's hard to hear in the song, though. The song, it is straightforward. I don't mind the song.
Yeah, I guess when you think about how serious this album is, I don't know, like it would be out of place if it was meant to be a joke.
True. I mean, I'm not saying it is. I'm just
no, I hear you. Yeah,
the lyrics are kind of humorous in a way, depending on how you look at it. I look at him as kind of humorous because it's kind
Yeah.
of funny. He says you're supposed to rot right at the end of the song. I just find that kind of funny, but I
But I
don't know.
agree with you. It's not bad. Like I never skip it.
No,
I always
no,
laugh.
it's not a bad song. It's got some punch. And Jim, what do you think of it?
Yeah, you guys have pretty much said it all on this one. My only complaint, I mean, good things do come in small packages to some degree, so it has that quintessential death metal feel to it and that, but it's too short. I think it maybe should have been another minute, minute and a half. It just you just get into it and then it ends. you know, like
But was it just an idea that they had and
yeah,
just
it's actually now that you've asked that question, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, this is a classic case of was this something that was sort of just kind of they topped it up pretty quick and just maybe a time constraint or whatever.
well, it's curious because it's the shortest song on the album, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh, and it's right in the middle too. It's just
yeah.
like right at that. I don't know. It's weird, but I guess we'll never really know what they were thinking at the time. But
Yeah.
it's all right. So track number 6, but life goes on. This is another banger for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some really evil, nasty vocals on it. What do you think, Jim?
Oh, I love it. I mean, I know this is another, it's only 3 minutes, so it's only like a minute longer roughly than the song prior. But I think it's got that wicked guitar intro. I love the vocals on it. I think this is a really strong song. I think it's got that cool chug. At 126, you got that killer scream moan type
Yeah,
mix
yeah,
that
yeah.
that he can do on this album. And I was calling them screams, but I'm stealing Billy said moan, and that's exactly what a lot of these are. They're screamish moans, and I was trying to come up with a word on the first song where it had those moans, and I was like, it's not a scream, but I'm going to call it a scream. But anyways, this is definitely another one that showcases the drum ability for the drummer. And then at 145, it's got that guttural moan again. And at that leads like 145 to 156, and then you have this kind of guitar fill that kind of goes on for quite. I think it's kind of a bit of a solo, but I really like this song. It's another really good one for me.
Yeah, and I think LG's got some really good vocals. He's pretty original
Yeah.
for a death metal vocals. I can't think of any other vocalist that I can compare him to. He's got his own thing going here, and it's great on the song. What do you think about this song, Billy?
I like it better than the previous track, but 5 and 6 are my least two favorites on
Mm-hmm.
the album. Only because this again, it's less complex. It's more one theme. Like the theme's cool though. Like like Petrov. Like if you want like the agonizing, blood curdling, like guttural moans, like this is his best song for that. You guys already mentioned it. Like the drumming and riffs, which make me still like the song.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. But yeah, it's again like it doesn't have the diversity of the songwriting as 5 and 6 as most of the other album does. So for me, they stand back, but they're still very good. Like not every song has to be a 10 out of 10. Like
Mm-hmm.
for me, like But Life Goes On would be like maybe a 7 or an 8, and track number 5 would be like a 6 for me. But every
Mm-hmm.
other song's like a 10.
Well, I think I think it's basic in lyrically the whole point of the song is that your body might rot, but your essence still lives on. That's the whole point of the song. But I guess maybe you don't need like a 5 6 minute song to get that point across. I don't know, hard to say. But I think the song's all right too. I think 5 and 6 are kind of the two low points to some degree, and then it picks back up. So like we move to track 7, Bitter Loss, which is one hell of a
Mm-hmm.
song in my mind. What do you think of this one though, Billy?
Yeah, so this is like just a
Yeah.
complete rebound, right? Like so, like it makes like you just forget about any like slight disappointment from 5 or 6. So yeah, this is like right up there in the top 3 or 4. I mean, just the riffs and this chorus are so catchy and hook filled. Like it's amazing. This thing has like the sudden bass solo just burst out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
The middle section kind of at 2 minutes. It's just the moshing riffs. Like they're just like it's so effective. They just grab you in and kudos to Petrov here because he's got some pretty diverse and different approaches here, right? Like at one point in this song, he actually has his cleanest vocals
Yeah.
on the entire album, right? So he's given a pretty good performance. Like the overall song, like the rhythm just has this like marching like pace, and but it also has a slight punky feel, like maybe like something like a Motorhead like kicking around in the
Hmm.
background. But yeah, I think it's great.
And this is where he throws in that
Yeah,
Tom's gothic crooning in a
yeah,
couple sections, which I thought was like, oh, you could pick it out. I mean,
yeah.
it's an obvious thing.
Yeah.
I kind of like that because it just gives the song. It's only in two sections, but I kind of think it's great. I
Same
like
with
it
me.
myself. It works for me.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, like Billy nailed all the key points. I love the bass in this. And yeah, this has a Celtic Frost vibe for me in some of the parts of the song. And I think that's pretty cool because, I mean, they were a lot of bands really are big fans, and whether it was meant to be in there or not, I'd like to think it was. But yeah, this is another killer song, and I agree with Billy. The last two songs is a bit shorter. Probably the one we just did, I like better than the one before, but this one just like kind of realigns everything, sort of back to where song 4 was. So I think it's a great rebound song. Even though those songs, believe me, aren't bad by any stretch, but
Yeah.
this just kind of recalibrates the album for me, and I love it.
Well, obviously the song's about religious extremism, which is one of the topical things that most like death and
Hmm.
thrash metal bands like to write in their songs. So it's great in that regards. But I think it's really good because you get that there is that little like that bass line at 43 seconds, which is kind of interesting.
Hmm.
It's very brief. And then I don't know. I always thought that LG kind of sounds like a demented caveman at times. Like his
Hmm.
style goes all over the map. It's frantic, and it's like, oh, this is kind of interesting. So, and then he's got the Tom Gothic crooning, and it's like, whoa. I think he's the star of the show for me on this song, for me personally. But I think it's a great song as well. And now we'll move over to track number 8, Morbid Devourment. Billy, take us away. What do you think?
Yeah, so I like this one. We're getting back up in song length, right? So
Hmm.
this is breaking the 5 minute mark, 5.5 minutes. I like the this one has a slightly different feel to it than some of the others. Like you got that slower grinding pace up front. It's even kind of doomy like. But yeah, this also I would call out. There's some cool underlying groove in here. There's also multiple tempos. They're jumping around, which again makes the songwriting interesting.
Yeah.
I love that guitar lead at 240, which brings then bring like the pace back to the slow grind. And Petrov again has some like great growls, and yeah, it's just another great song, but it sets itself slightly apart from the others. But and again, like the same features, like the riffs are so memorable, Nicky's drumming, like all that's mixed in there again. So yeah, it's a cool song. I like it.
What do you think of his like little like he has that scream and laugh at two?
Laugh, yeah,
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 Hmm.
yeah. I like
yeah,
that. I was like, oh, this is interesting.
yeah. The
It's
laugh comes
brief, but
after.
I thought it kind of worked.
Yeah,
You pick it out, you can hear it.
yeah.
Jim, let's get your thoughts.
Yeah, I kind of like making new genres of metal up. So I called this one, in parts of it has a bit of a doomy funk sound. So it's
Yeah,
kind of, I find it kind of doomy funky at the same time. It's a wicked song, and this is a killer guitar track. And it's got a massive solo in it. I love the guttural growl at the start of it, and then you have
yes.
that laugh halfway through. I think that's pretty cool. Oh, we're back up there with. I mean, this is one of my favorite songs on the album. It's an absolute banger for sure. No, it's wicked, and Billy hits it on the head with. It's a little different than. I mean, not that any. I don't find any of the songs. Maybe 5 and 6 were a little bit similar.
Similar,
Maybe it
yeah.
was the shortness of it. But I find this one, like you keep like Seven kind of went into a different direction, and this one definitely did. I think that's really cool and commendable for a first album in the death metal genre.
Very true. Very, very true. So, Jim, we'll stick with you for track nine. Abnormally Deceased. What do you
Oh,
think?
what a wicked name of
Yeah,
a song.
I like the title song
And
too.
that heavy intro, and then in 22 seconds, die. I love,
Yeah.
it's just so cool. I mean, and the heavy, and I'm calling it a death metal drum beat in this one. It's just, this is another killer drum song for me, and the riffs and fills in this are just great. It's a heavy song. I love the title, and it's just, yeah, it's one of my, I keep saying this that it's one of my favorites. So how can I have favorites? I have a hard time ranking the songs on this because I'd be fighting with myself on what would be 1 through 7 probably, or 8. And but I mean, yeah, this is another really great one. And I thought to myself when I was re-listening to this, I was like, maybe they should have ended the album here, but no, that's not the case. But this album or this song is just, it just absolutely kicks ass.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like the guitar tone, like it just cuts right to the
Yeah,
bone. And the riffs, these riffs. And I also think LG has like kind of more Cookie Monster kind of vocals that he
I like
kind of,
that.
yeah, it is a bit of a more of a variation. He, as a vocalist, he's really good with the variations
Mm-hmm.
and trying to switch up a little bit so it's not all the way
Mm-hmm.
through and you get bored. Because sometimes in death metal, I don't like it when it was just all the way through because it gets a little kind of boring sometimes. But I like it that he's able to with the variations. And
Yeah.
Billy, what do you think of the song? Are you in agreement here?
Yeah, no, I think it's another great one. I mean, it's just for the again, it's a shorter track. Like for me,
Yeah,
it's just 100% fueled by the thick buzzsaw riffs, right? So
Mm-hmm.
memorable. Like that is the song. Like that opening scream by Petrov is really cool, very guttural in style. I wonder to what degree like an Autopsy influenced him. Like, because
Yeah.
the landmark Autopsy album, Severed
yeah,
Survival, was out a year before this. Like,
yeah.
and
That's true.
as like I've been on such a Autopsy kick the last couple years. Like
Same here.
I keep hearing, like, especially when he goes slower and guttural, like it really reminds me of Autopsy. But yeah, I mean, that's I'm getting sidetracked. But yeah, another great song. It's not filled with like twists and turns, but still, like those memorable buzzsaw riffs just deliver the entire song.
Yeah, and like not to beat a dead horse, but they again they're very they're so obsessed with the idea of death. I mean, that's why they're a death metal band. But the whole point to the song is that your body is just a temporary vessel. So I think it's interesting. If you read through the lyrics, yeah, that's that they're really obsessed with that. But it's a pretty solid song too. I like it. I'm good with this one. I think I'm not sure. We'll get your opinions on both about the last track, number 10, The Truth Beyond. And Jim, what do you think as a closing song?
Love it. I thought when I listened to 9, I was like, man, maybe they should have closed with this, as I didn't remember every song on this album. It's been a while since I played it, even though it is one of my favorites. I love, again, the guitars on this song is just so good. And I like the even heavier guttural vocals on this. And it's got this is another clear bass line track where you get a really good, like, I love the fact when bands, especially like in the 1990 early 90s, and this is 1990, where they really focused some of the songs with a bass line. I think that's really cool because it adds to I find it just adds to the darker feel of the album, rather than just guitars and like bands that push the drum beat and the bass line back a bit. This is front and center, and I really like it. It's got that cool guttural intro, and I mean, I think it's a great. I think this is a great ending to what I consider one of the masterpiece death metal albums of all time, and I don't think they could have ended it with a better song. I think it's perfect.
And it's a dark song. And it's
Mm-hmm.
about it's about organized, well, they want to attack organized religion, so they do that here. I was just want to point out one thing though. There's a tempo shift at 129, and then you get, I don't know if you guys heard it, but there's like these ominous chimes in the background. Did you pick those out? Because I did.
No.
They're just very, very brief, but I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. I could be hearing things, but I'm pretty sure I heard that in the song around that time. I don't know. We'll get Billy's opinion. What do you think, Bill?
Yeah, no, I like it. Like it's a great closing track. Like it doesn't close as strong as it opens, but it still closes
No.
strong. Like it won't make my list of like all-time best opening close, but it
No.
doesn't have to. It's still great. Like again, like it's just the catchy as hell mosh inducing riffs. Like it just that's the common denominator here that flows through everything. It
Yeah.
starts a little slower, picks up in the aggression. Yeah, like yeah, it's good. Like it's yeah, I'll leave it at that. Like I'm not going to analyze it any further, but yeah, it's just great. The riff drives this thing home, and you get a full sense of the band in this closer.
I like it. I like the evil laugh at the end that he adds on too.
Mhm.
I think that's kind of like a little cherry on top. But yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's a good song to close the album out. I mean, obviously, it's not none of these songs are going to rival Left Hand Path. But that opening
No.
track is just an incredible song. But you know, there aren't any bad songs on this album. Every song is pretty solid, and like you guys say, it's like the guitar tone and the riffs are what really sells it for everybody. And LG, I think he's such a great vocalist. I absolutely love him. It's kind of a shame though that LG, like in more recent times when he started Entombed AD, his vocal style changed so much. It was just a more generic kind of growlish, somewhat of a Cookie Monster style, but nothing that you would get here on this album, which is kind of a shame.
Mm.
But I mean, it's sad that he passed away. I think that's the sad thing of like bile duct
Yeah.
cancer because he's a really, really good vocalist. I've always been a fan of him, and this
Yeah.
album, clear, clear winner. You know, I think it's great. I love
Yeah.
this.
Yep, no, it's a classic. If we're gonna do the death metal classics, this has to
Yeah.
be.
I'll tell you right now, it's on my top five.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
didn't want to put it there because I wanted to talk about five other albums, but I couldn't get around it. I have to give it props.
yeah. I mean, obviously, I know we were talking before we started the podcast, like during the week, and Billy made the point that we got to start with this album because
Yeah.
I mean, I will admit I wanted to start originally with Wolverine Blues because I love
And
that
I
album.
love that album.
Yeah, I do too. But Billy made a really good point, and his point is his salient point about, oh no, we have to start from the right at the beginning, and this obviously would be one of those albums to do that. It's a landmark album for many reasons as we discussed tonight. So yeah, I'm glad we went to this album as our first start. We'll see where we go from here next month and the month after. But yeah, this should be a fun little thing that we can do on a monthly basis. Pick a death
Yeah.
metal album and talk about it. It's variation's a good thing. I mean, it's great to have it. So I'm all good with that. Do
Yep.
you guys have any other final thoughts before we move into the final segment tonight?
No.
Nope.
Okay, good. So the final segment, I had this idea, like if you're on a desert island, if you're stranded, and you only were allowed to bring 5 death metal albums, what 5 would you bring? Because you're going to be listening to these over and over and over.
And why
So
couldn't we bring 10? Why did it have to be five?
Because
We usually do top tens.
it's
I
done
know.
by weight.
What's that?
It's weight, yeah.
On the ship, the SS Minnow, you were only allowed one bag.
I know. I should have. Yeah, we should have been
Oh, it
10.
doesn't. I'm joking.
I thought this would be harder because then it's like you
Yeah,
have
well, it is. Yeah.
put your thinking cap on and go, okay, I only have 5. What 5 am I going to bring?
Yeah.
So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Go for it, Jim.
Okay, well, I'll start with my number 5. I picked Morbid Angel. I know some of these are like shooting fish in a barrel, but Altars of Madness, one of my favorite albums. But I mean, I could have gone with Covenant. I love that. If it was top 10, I might have started doubling up on some albums, but probably not, because I would have thrown some Autopsy in there. I would have thrown some Bloodbath, but Morbid Angel, I mean, Immortal Rights on this album, you know, A Chapel of the Ghouls. I mean, I love this album.
That's a
My
good
number
song.
four is my second favorite Swedish band would be Dismember, Like an Ever Flowing Stream. I mean, this is, as far as I'm concerned, just such an amazing death metal album. You know, I love the In Death Sleep. It's just wicked. The whole album from start to finish for me, and I think it's only like 32 minutes long or something, but it's wicked. I love the first three or four, including the EP Pieces, which I think came out after this. But I'm going through a huge Dismember and Bloodbath thing right now, although Bloodbath didn't make my top. This has to be 5 albums I'm going to bring and get stranded, you know, like Gilligan Island style, with maybe Ginger and the, I don't know, the Ginger and the the scientist, the professor. But anyways, number 3 would be Entombed. This, don't need to talk about this since we just deep dived it. Oh man, getting closer to the top 2 was really, really hard. But my favorite, and I know I'm going to catch maybe some crap for this, but my favorite death album is Leprosy. You know, Pull the Plug is my favorite death metal song, probably next to something from maybe Chopped in Half from Obituary, and Open Casket. I mean, I love this. Is, I think Scott Burns has produced that album. I think maybe that was his first death metal album he produced. Was this maybe? Or because I don't think he did Scream Bloody Gore.
No, he didn't do Scream
No, but
Bloody.
anyways,
you might be right.
Really great production on this album. I mean, I love Scream Bloody Gore, but it was this is just definitely a step up. Spiritual Healing could have been in here. Symbolic is I just posted some Symbolic videos to my Facebook page last night. But I mean, I must put a live version of Pull the Plug on every month. I'm always finding something new that I got to put on there. And like Billy had put me on to the Death live albums they did during the pandemic. And I've got, I think, all of them but 2 now. And some of them are for the Leprosy tour, and some of them are for Spiritual Healing, some of them for all over. There's a Montreal one in there that is wicked. I think it might have been for this album. And no, the rawness of those live tracks, and they're always got Pull the Plug on there to sound so wicked. Never get bored of it. And my number 1 is Obituary. So I had trouble fighting for this one, but man, I'm gonna go with Cause of Death.
Good choice.
I mean, Slowly We Rot is landmark album, but my favorite song of theirs is Chopped in Half, and I love the title track. But I mean, I also like this has a cover on it, and it's probably one of the best covers of all time, and they still play it live to this day. I see on the live stream I got, they did a great job of it, even though they were doing what album were they? Their third album there. I can't remember what it is. Billy, what was it?
The Incomplete.
The Incomplete. They were doing that in its entirety. That's another masterpiece. I mean, but I like all Obituary albums, but I mean, those first 3 albums are just phenomenal. But I mean, I got to go with Cause of Death. It's just, I think that was the first album that I got when I was younger, and obviously went back and got Slowly We Rot. And I mean, everything about Cause of Death, the album art to all the songs on it are just, and even the cover is just such a wicked cover that I got to go with it. So those are my 5 Desert Island albums.
Cool. Awesome. How about you, Billy?
Yeah, so my 5, they're not in any particular order. So Obituary, Cause of Death, that's
All right.
a bit repetitive. It's my favorite Obituary album by a mile, although I like everything. It's my favorite death metal band. And I don't know I mean, we got to give James Murphy some credit, because that's a unique feature to this album that's not on any of the other. You know, this is his main contribution. I don't think he was on Incomplete, was he?
No.
Yeah, no,
No.
he wasn't. Yeah,
Uh,
so yeah, I think he's probably a part of the magic that happened here. Then I got Death Human. So
Oh
I
yeah.
needed to bring a prog technical death metal album, and I'm a big fan of prog tech, whether it be thrash or death
I got
metal.
the short on
And
human.
there you go.
Nice.
This wins hands down. Number three, I have the album we just talked about, Entombed, Lefthand Path. I mean, all I got to do is say the guitar tone and end the story. That's why that's come in. And then a band I always loved, especially the first couple. So I'm bringing Suffocation, Pierce
Oh
from
yeah, yeah.
That's a good one.
1995. It came a little later, but it's just it's more. It has another layer of brutality to the death metal versus some of the originators who hit the scene. But another reason why I like this is there's also a high level of technicality in it. So for me, that's the brutality and the technicality and the songwriting great. So that has to make my list. That's number four. And then another repeat with Jim. Number five has to be Morbid Angel. Authors of Madness. Love David's vocals. They're just really good at the hooks, and they're not scared of throwing in some more melodic solos as well to balance the brutality of the music. Just one of the greatest early examples of death metal. So yeah, those are my five, and I was going to
Cool.
go down the route of honorable mentions, and I
Yeah.
had five or six, and I'm like, just forget it. Like I'll end up with like 20 of them.
It's hard to just bring five.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, we bring five. It's really, really hard. Imagine if we did this with the thrash, it'd be the same thing. It'd be like pick your top five thrash albums. That
yeah.
would be really hard to do. That would be
Well,
so
because I wanted Bolt Thrower in there too, and I was like, yeah, it's just not top five for me, but it would be top 10.
fair enough.
Their second
So
album there.
my
Yeah.
my five are a bit different. We don't really have we have some band matches, but not album matches. So number five, I have Planetary Clairvoyance by Two Mold from 2019. I really like this band. I really do like this band a lot. Every time I listen to one of their albums, I always get something new out of it or something different I didn't hear before. I think this is a masterpiece. The album cover art is great. The album itself is fantastic. I love the new album, but this album really it gets my attention. And they're Toronto. They're from Toronto, so I love the fact that they're Canadian and they're right from Toronto. So it's really cool. Number four might be a similar theme, so I picked the Jester Race by In Flames, who I absolutely love. The old style, not the new crap that they became. But I love the Gothenburg sound. I love like the whole kind of metal death style in the mid '90s. This came out in 1996. Has a really wicked cover. I love this album. That it's never boring. I come back to it all the time. I constantly listen to this album. It's really good. Now, number three, I went with Morbid Angel, but here's where it might be blasphemous to some. I went with Blessed Are the Sick. And I actually prefer this album a bit more. I mean, it's a bit progressive and it's a bit different than the first album. My CD cover is actually signed by Trey Azagoth. He actually signed it for me, so it's kind of neat to have it signed. But I always like that album. I just find that there's some kind of creepy moments to it. It's just a bit different. It sort of, in some ways, it reminds me a little bit of Celtic Frost, just for the kind of progressive leaning that it sort of has. But I always seem to go back to that album. Number two is Lefthand Path. How could you not pick Entombed? They have to be right up there. We talked about this album. And I go with Death as well, but for me, it'll always be Spiritual Healing. It's my favorite Death album.
Yeah.
It's such a great album. I go to it all the time. It's the
Yep.
one I constantly listen to. I just love the songs. And for me, I love Chuck's vocals. His vocals are so great on this album. They're so unique. It's like we're talking about LG earlier, but Chuck had some unique vocals when this album came out. And it's just maybe I like it because the lyrics aren't typical death metal lyrics. He's talking about a lot of social themes. I know we've discussed this album, the three of us, on another podcast for someone else, But yeah, this album, I can never get enough of it. It's one of those albums I can put on at any time and come back to it and still like it. I never get bored of it. And what do you got Chuck and James Murphy on it, so it's like you got a 1-2 punch. Like you can't get any better than that. But that's my top 5.
Wicked.
That's my top.
Cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun.
It's hard to just pick 5, but I figured.
I'm glad we hit a desert island and we didn't go down like the Titanic. So
no, Jim, we'd all be dead. We'd all would have drowned, and then watch our albums float for
yeah.
Whether you have vinyl in your CD, they're just gonna float. Float. All right, so next week, Jim, you have the captain's chair. So go ahead. Why don't you announce our topic for next week?
I've been keeping this one in my holster for a long time. So
I know you have.
Next, my favorite thrash debut of all time, Metallica, Kill 'Em All. Yeah. I know it's not a favorite of many, but for me, it's the album that just, oh man, I remember buying it. And I'll tell all the stories next week, but I cannot wait to do that. So we'll be doing that next week.
So Jim, you said your favorite debut album. Isn't it your favorite album overall or no?
Yes, my favorite actually, yeah, it's my favorite album overall.
Yeah, okay.
My top 50 or my top 100, it will always be Kill 'Em All number
1.
one.
I thought so. Okay.
Yeah. Love it.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I like the album myself. I mean, it's not in my top 10, but I do like it. I do like it a lot. But I don't know. I mean, but we'll get into that next week. So that should be a pretty good chat.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
Yeah. Be good. So we're gonna sign off tonight, guys. It was a good show. Our first inaugural death metal album. I'm sure next month we'll have another great pick, and we'll go from there. So have a great night, guys.
Good night.
All right. Good night.